everyone, and welcome back to Mariana Mas Books. My name is Mariana, and today I am going to do a walkthrough of my Wise Dog Tarot. So I just really wanted to film a video, but I didn't know what to film because I have a couple of tags that I want to film that are pending, but I am waiting for some decks to arrive. And so I thought, you know what, I'm going to do a walkthrough because ever since a little while ago I've been wanting to do a walkthrough of some of my favorite tarot decks that don't have many walkthroughs or flip throughs here on YouTube, on TarotTube. So one of them is the Wise Dog Tarot, another one is the Da Vinci Enigma, and I think also the Radiant Tarot, but I'm not sure. But I'm going to start today with the Wise Dog Tarot, and then I'm going to do the Da Vinci Enigma. So I have never done a walkthrough flip through before, so I don't know what I'm doing. But the Wise Dog and the Da Vinci Enigma are two of my favorite decks. If there is such a thing as soul decks, those two would be within my soul decks. So I just wanted to do a walkthrough because, as I said, I haven't seen many walkthroughs or flip throughs here on TarotTube, and I think they deserve them because they are such good decks. Starting with the Wise Dog Tarot, I think it is a very underrated tarot. I think that because they are dogs, it is not taken seriously because this is a deck by MJ Cullinane, who I know is a very beloved creator, and her Crow Tarot and Crow Oracle are very beloved here on TarotTube, but crows are more magic-y than dogs are, and they have a cool deity associated to them. You know, the Morrigan dogs don't have that witchy deity associated to them. And cat decks are very popular, but cats are very popular in the internet currently. And so I think that because it's dogs, people don't look at it as like a quote-unquote real tarot. And to be honest, that happened to me as well. So the reason I got this deck was just because of the doggies. And to be honest, I didn't think it was going to be a really or I didn't know if it was going to be a good reader. I didn't intend to do a lot of readings with this deck. I bought it to have some cute dogs, and I thought maybe I would do readings with it when I wanted to be cheered up. But surprise, surprise, this turned out to be one of the best readers that I have, and I can use it for literally any type of question, and I can use it for literally anyone. It is a very popular deck when I have people come over for me to read the cards, which, I mean, I only read the cards for friends and family, but when I have friends or family that come over, oftentimes they will pick the Wise Dog to the readings, and it is spot on every time. This is one of those decks that I know, that I trust completely, that you know how sometimes when you read for someone else, you get nervous before you pull the cards because you don't know what you're going to get. And this is one where I don't get nervous because I know that every time the cards will be spot on. And the dogs are very communicative, and so you really get messages from the deck. And so, well, yeah, I'm not going to babble on anymore. I'm just going to walk through. I don't think I'm going to comment on every card. I'm just going to flip through the cards and comment whenever a comment is warranted. As I said, I've never done a walkthrough, so I'm not sure how it's going to go. But I'm going to start with a flip through, and then I'm going to talk about the guidebook and the cardstock and all of that stuff. So these are the backs, as you can see here. This is an extra card that came in the deck, so I just put it here so you could see the back of the cards. And we are going to start flipping through the major arcana. So here we have the Fool, which you might recognize from my favorite majors video. The Magician, the High Priestess, the Empress with her little puppies, the Emperor, which again you will recognize from my favorite majors video, the Hierophant. I really love him. Okay, so one piece of criticism I would have to this deck is that I was hoping that in the guidebook there would be mention of the breeds of dogs that were used and why the dogs were picked for each card. And I am not complaining about the guidebook because the guidebook for this deck is one of my favorite guidebooks that I own. I love MJ Collinane's writing and I love her interpretations of the cards, but I did wish that she had mentioned the breeds. I know that, I mean, MJ Collinane maybe is not an expert in dog breeds, you know, so yes, so there is a reason why there is no explanation on them, but I would have liked to see it. And that's just a nitpicky complaint because I mean, yeah, she doesn't have to be an expert on breeds. This one I get, I mean, he's a hound, so the dogs are following him. And you know, this is one of the dogs that they use for like hunting, and so he's a good choice for the Hierophant because he is a leader, and he marks the trail, he marks the path. So that's the Hierophant. Then the Lovers, the Chariot. I love the Huskies for the Chariot. I think I also did this for my favorite major tag, I'm not sure. Strength, I'm pretty sure this little guy was also in my favorite majors because I just love this Strength card. The Hermit, the Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hangman, which is funny with a little cone of shame, Death, I like the little butterfly, Temperance, the Devil. Now this one I know was in my favorite majors card because the Chihuahua, the Devil, always makes me laugh. The Tower, I recently got this in a reading for a family friend, and this was such a good card in that particular reading, and she actually has a German Shepherd like this one, and so when this card came out, she immediately related to the card because she has a dog like this one. So yeah, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment with the dogs going to dog heaven. I don't know, but this reminds me of a film from my childhood. I'm not sure. I don't even know which film. I don't know, for some reason it reminds me of a film from my childhood. This is a hard word. Childhood is a hard word to pronounce. And finally, the World. So this is the major arcana. Then we will do the wands. This is the Ace of Wands. And I love that whether you understand or not the image in the picture, the faces of the dogs, the expressions of the dogs always have the energy of the card. I tell you, the dogs are very communicative. They are very expressive, and so that helps with the meanings of the cards. So 2 of Wands, I love the dogs looking ahead into the future. 3 of Wands. 4 of Wands. 5 of Wands. 6 of Wands with the wreath in the back and the other dogs looking like the recognition. 7 of Wands defending his territory. 8 of Wands, the movement, that one is pretty self-explanatory. 9 of Wands. 10 of Wands. Page of Wands. And the cards are interesting because yeah, the cards are some of my favorite cards. I was going to say the queens and the kings are not my favorite, but that's not true in every suit. But I think the pages and the knights are on point in every suit. And yeah, we'll see, we'll go through it. The Knight of Wands. So I tell you, the pages and knights are just perfect in every suit. The Queen of Wands. And the King of Wands, which I don't know if it's me, but I think the kings are the ones that are not very kingly. I mean, they're cute, but I don't know if this screams King of Wands to me, except for the King of Cups, who you will see. The King of Cups is perfect. But yeah, so these were the ones. Then let's do the Cups, and the Cups is a suit that has been stalking me in general since, I think, since I began with tarot. So these will be cards that are very familiar to me because I get them often. So we have the Ace of Cups, which is my main stalker for a few months. The Ace of Cups shows up so often for me. 2 of Cups. 3 of Cups. These 3 friends remind me of the dogs of my ex-boyfriend. 4 of Cups. 5 of Cups. 6 of Cups, and this is a particularly emotional card for me, and this one in particular from this deck because it has shown up in meaningful readings. The 7 of Cups, I love how she did with the cows and the yeah, all the different things. The 8 of Cups, also really love the energy, looking towards the greener pastures. The 9 of Cups. The 10 of Cups, the happy card. The Page of Cups. The Knight of Cups, this is one of my favorite cards. This guy has shown up several times in readings and I just love him. The Queen of Cups. And the King of Cups, and I think he is perfect. This is my favorite king. in the deck, and I just think the Labrador, really gentle Labrador, is a perfect energy for the King of Cups. So this was the cup suit. Then we have the swords. So first we have the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords. This is not my favorite card, I must say, from this deck, but yeah, Three of Swords. I don't like getting this card. I mean, who likes getting the Three of Swords just in general? But this particular card I don't like because I don't like it on an aesthetic level. The Four of Swords, the Five of Swords, and you know the question for this card, the at what cost, and this little guy is very happy and receiving a pet, and he's like a good boy, but in the back you see another doggy that is very sad. And so what did this doggy do to receive the pet? At what cost did he win? The Six of Swords, and for this one I am going to use this one to show you the guidebook, because this card I got in a reading that was also very meaningful, and I love the Six of Swords. It's one of my favorite cards, and when I got it I wasn't sure what the choice for the image for the Six of Swords, and after I read it I was like, wow, okay. Yeah, and when I read it, I realized that MJ Cullinan has some very different interpretations, or she has a different way of looking at the cards, and she always has a sentence that makes me look to the card in a way that I hadn't before. And so I'm going to show you. This is the guidebook. So as you see, it's a small guidebook. It's one of those boxes that is a two-part box that comes with the cards and the guidebook. And these are my favorite types of guidebooks. I really do not like big guidebooks. I mean, I like the idea of them because I'm such a nerd and I love reading and I love studying and I love annotating and putting post-its, and so I love the idea of big guidebooks with tons of information that I can read from cover to cover, but I never do. I have a pile of big guidebooks in my nightstand that I say I'm going to read from cover to cover, and I will sometime, eventually, at some point, but I don't immediately. And so they are interesting as books to own and read whenever you get to them, but they are not very useful as guidebooks for a deck, because you start reading with a deck and you don't read the full guidebook, whereas with a guidebook like this one you use the deck and you can look for the meaning, and it's just a small paragraph. And if it's a well-written guidebook like this one, you don't need a big guidebook for it to be good. Yeah, so this is the guidebook that comes with the deck, and I am going to flip through the Six of Swords to read you what it says. So look, this is how the book looks on the inside. It doesn't even have pictures for the cards, and I honestly do not care. Like, I feel creators spend so much time about thinking about the guidebook and making it look pretty, and as a graphic designer I will say I fall for that, and I do find them attractive, and I think, oh wow, beautiful guidebook, and in reality this is one of my favorite guidebooks. And look at it, it's in black and white. It honestly, like, I think this is a little white book, even though this isn't white, you know. But yeah, so the Six of Swords is this little paragraph, and it says, There are times when we need to set differences aside for the sake of recovery. Open yourself up to new experiences, as you may need to seek help outside your tribe or comfort zone to begin a new journey towards healing. See, that's a way of looking at the card that I never thought. Open yourself up. See, he's being curious, he's being open, because you can find help outside your tribe. So you need to go outside in order to move on, in order to go to the path of recovery. And when I read it, I was like, wow. And it was so potent for that reading in particular. And I just love this it's one of my favorite Six of Swords now. So yeah, and all of that in just a tiny little white book. Even though this isn't white, this is a little white book. But let's move on with the flip through. So that's the Six of Swords, and then we have the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords. I think it's funny that the nightmares are cats. It gives it another meaning because dogs are supposed to chase cats, and so the nightmare is in a different sense, right? So the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, and I appreciate that the it's not like a dead dog with blood or anything, just yeah, Ten of Swords, Page of Swords, Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, and King of Swords. And finally we have the Pentacle suit. We have the Ace of Pentacles, the Two of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles. I also got this one in a reading for a friend recently, and on point. I'm telling you, this deck always on point, always spot on, always. The Four of Pentacles, he's digging his coins. The Five of Pentacles, the Six of Pentacles, the Seven of Pentacles, the Eight of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles. I love this card. I know, just aesthetically, I like it. The Ten of Pentacles, the Page of Pentacles. I don't like his eye because you can tell that this was a picture taken with a flash. And okay, so this is something very special about this deck, is that I think that people send pictures of their dogs and MJ Cullinane used them. Once I put a picture with this deck in Instagram and someone commented that their dog was in one of the cards, and I thought that was so cool. But here you can tell that this was a flash picture. You know how sometimes the eyes come out like that, and I don't like that it was used or that it wasn't fixed, because I mean, it just looks like a mistake. The Knight of Pentacles, the Queen of Pentacles, And finally, the King of Pentacles. And not to end on a bad note, but this is my least favorite king of all of them. He doesn't look King of Pentacles to me. So when I think of the King of Pentacles, I think of Ned Stark. And this doesn't have Ned Stark energy. I mean, it just doesn't. But not to end on a bad note, because as I said, this is one of my absolute favorite decks. There was the doorbell rang and I had to go check, so I decided to put on top the full, so we could end on this card that I really love. But I was telling you, there was a hashtag in Instagram going around on Instagram recently, to show your favorite deck, and this is the deck that I showed. If you go to my Instagram, my profile picture is actually the picture I took with this deck. So this is one of my absolute favorites. So I wanted to start with this one for doing a walkthrough, because as I said, I haven't found many walkthroughs or flip throughs, or there are some, but they are older. And so I wanted to do one now, and I just wanted to talk about the deck because I feel like it doesn't get enough love. I don't see it a ton. I see a ton of cat decks. I see a ton of people talking about the crow tarot, but not a lot of people talking about the dog tarot, and it deserves to be talked about because it is such a great deck. I am going to put on the screen some pictures that I've taken on Instagram with this one, just so you can see how it looks laid out, because I know that that's something that I always look for. When I see a deck that I really love, I always look for pictures to see spreads so I can see how it looks laid out. And MJ Cullinan's decks always look so great laid out. Well, I already showed you the guidebook, it's the same size of the cards, it fits in the box. The box is a two-part box. And let me see if I have it on hand. It's too difficult to take. It's underneath a bunch of other boxes, so I'm not going to take it out. But it's a two-part box, and if I were to do this, it would sound that it's a sturdy box. It's a sturdy two-part box. I'm just not going to show it to you. But yeah. So again, the bags, you have already seen them. It's this little bone bags, and I have to say the cardstock is my favorite card. It's funny because when I got the deck, I thought, oh, I don't really like the cardstock, so just like as a cardstock, I don't enjoy it just as cardstock, as paper. I love paper, I love cardstock, and this cardstock I don't love just in itself, but in the use, it's my favorite one. It's the one that feels feels better in my hands. Both the size is a bit taller than the Rider-Waite Centennial, or the Smith-Waite Centennial. In terms of size and cardstock, it's my favorite. It's my favorite, the one that feels better in my hands. And now I'm making a mess as usual, but yeah, I wanted to show it off. I wanted to sing its praises. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you on another video soon. I don't know what that video will be, but I will see you on another video. In the meantime, I was going to say I wish you happy reading, because that's what I always say when I finish my booktube videos, and I guess it works too. Happy reading, it's just happy reading cards instead of happy reading books. So happy reading.